Giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakadash, double honor to the elders of GMS. Also salutations to all the Akim out there expressing this truth. And also shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect. And this is an example of forwarding the affliction, you know. Even in 2024, they won't Jake in chains. They won't Jake in hardcore bondage, you know. If it was Esau's choice, you know, so-called white man's choice, he'll still have us in chains, you know. But the Lord lifted the hardcore bondage, and we're more like under where I'm looking. Let's just say paper bondage, you know, through or should I say contracts through birth certificates, you know, and fucking and social security cards, you know, and things like that. They own you through paperwork now. And you're not directly forced to, you know, go into hardcore bondage, but you go to these jobs, you know. But that's where it says white couple accused of adopting black children for forcing them to work as slaves on farm in West Virginia. You see? So they had these kids and really in bondage, man. It says Jeannie Whitefeather and Donald Lutz face numerous criminal charges, including human trafficking, forced labor, and child neglect. A white West Virginia couple is accused of adopting. I just read that. It says the couple faces numerous charges, including human trafficking, forced labor, and child neglect. According to the 16-count indictment, Gene White, or John White, all right, White Feather, and I think that's supposed to be like a Gadite name, you know, White Feather. That sound like he supposed to be a fucking Gadite or something. There's a fucking heathen, you know. That's another thing, you know. When it was time to claim land, you know, and had those different casinos, you had these fucking Edomites coming talking about they was part Indian and shit, you know, showing you this man's a real devil. You know, you gonna say you a Gadite, right? You gonna say you a Native American, but then you gonna enslave, you know, to so-called black kids, you know. It says, and Donald Lance, and let me take that back. It's Gene, it's not John, it's Gene, right? And Donald Lance, 63, adopted the 5 children ages 6 to 16 from a shelter for vulnerable and homelessness youth and target them for forced labor, specifically because they were black. The shocking allegations led the judges in the case to say the children were being used as slaves. They were found at Whitefeather and Lance home in Cecilville by Kawanawa Sheriff's deputies after a 911 call led to the welfare check. 2 of the children, ages 14 and 16, were found in deplorable conditions in a locked barn. Yeah, see, that's slavery, because that's where they kept Jake, you know, and in the 1700s, 1600s and shit, man. They kept them in the back in barns, you know, on the fucking plantation. The children had no means to exit the barn on their own, no running water, no bathroom facilities, and were obviously deprived of adequate hygiene, care, and food. The sheriff's department said in a written statement the children's neglect was apparent from the court documents, which mentioned the teens were dirty, 14-year-old boy, and had sores on his bare feet. The young victim said they've been locked in the barn for about 12 hours and were forced to sleep on the concrete floor. The neighbors said the children were allowed inside the home. So, man, despite No apparent way of leaving the barn. White Feather's attorney, Mark Plant, said there was a key inside the shed. That was just plain and simple misunderstanding about what is going on here. Come on, man. Another 9-year old was found in the house locked up alone hours later. Lance came home with an 11-year-old boy and led deputies to a 6-year-old girl who was staying with the couple's friend. Damn. The couple allegedly began abusing the children at their 80-acre ranch in Washington State, but moved to West Virginia after they discovered they were being investigated. You see? But this man's the devil. Let's grab that scripture. Zechariah 1:15. It says, I'm very sore displeased with the heathen, yeah, these other nations, man, mainly with the so-called white man, that are at ease. Yeah, and you know what? You got to be at ease thinking you can get away that you can get away with something like that in this time, you know? Check out that word real quick. Ease, see, there we go. Careless, wanton, arrogant, security, pride, arrogance. You see? Because here we go. Because Esau even have laws on, that you can't put people in hardcore bondage unless it's through his fucking prison system. You know, he can legally put you in slavery. However, what is all bullshit. You know. However, he tried to doctor that shit up. You know, slavery is slavery. But yeah, they put you in the prison system, right? And they have you working for a goddamn dollar a fucking hour. You know, $1 an hour. You know, and that's how they get Jake. And then they make money off you being in prison. You know, it's an industry. It's a documentary. I think it's called the 13th Amendment. You know, fucking goes into it. You know, and who was behind that law during the crack era? Fucking Joe Biden. You know, but it's a documentary on. It's called 13th Amendment. You know, but basically they was locking up Judah. You know, also Ephraim, also the fucking Northern Kingdom, right? During the crack epidemic during the early '90s. You know, and they was passing these fucking extreme laws. If you got caught with a couple crack rocks, you would end up with fucking 60 years, 40 years, 30 years. You was doing half of your life in prison. So this man gotta go down, man. You know, but that shows you, like it says, they are what? At ease. Then it says they're not in trouble. They're not troubled like other men, you know. So basically these devils, they can get away with shit. You know. Then when they found out they was getting, they was being fucking investigated, they just got up and bounced. And finished doing what they was doing, you know. Imagine if it was the other way around, you know, if Jake had Edomites in the fucking uh, land, had them working in the field, they would have chased them down. It says they they helped forward the affliction, all right? Because we did have a cutoff point of that hardcore bondage, man. Of course, we still in bondage to this day. You know, we ain't in our land. You know, they're not allowing us to, keep our culture, you know, or or actually uh, identify as being a Hebrew Israelite. They're actually demonizing it, you know. But anyways, man, let's grab one more scripture. One more scripture. All right. It says, this is Obadiah 1:18. It says, for violence against thy brother Jacob shame shall cover thee, which that's not the one I wanted, right? But this is a good one. For violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Yeah, so it's a judgment coming for you devils, man. You know, now this is the one I want, Ezekiel 35. It says, Ezekiel 35:5, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. Thou hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by force of the sword. And in the time of their calamity, and in the time of their iniquity, Salakia, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. In the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity, had an end. You see, and even now, right? Our iniquity had an end. All right, our punishment had some kind of end to it. You know, which was those heavy chains being lifted off us physically. Now, fucking mentally, that's still on our people. You see, our people, in the hoods, man. Old hot Cheeto eating with cheese. Dykes and sodomites every goddamn where. Killing each other. Jake is through. Jake is a fucking spectacle, a fucking byword. Amongst all nations, as the scriptures say, what was going to happen to Jake. All right, verse 6, therefore as I live, saith the Lord, thy power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. See if thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So you see, it's a judgment, man. What goes around comes around. I'm going to get one more scripture, though. This is a good one, too. Amos. They haven't been brought out a long time either. But I want to get the book of Revelations. Revelations 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. All right? You know what captivity is, right? Let's click on it. All right, it just say captivity. He's a demon. All right. A captive, all right, which was a slave, a prisoner of war, that is, generally. Let's click on it. Catching, captured, to be taken. Yeah, so you're going to be taken, man. Your ass going into slavery. He's also a demon. Everything else this nigga try to fucking expound on. Captivity, just put captivity. What the fuck what's fucking captivity? Dude's just a demon, man. In every work he does. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So that's what we waiting on, the saints, man. So with that, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakadash. The honors to the elders of GMS. Also salutations to all the argument that this person is truth. And also shalom to the rest of the whole elect. Peace.